Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble.
Sorry.
When you worry.
I just had to. Chapter 15 is Don't Worry, Be Happy. That's the subtitle of, well, not the subtitle. That is the theme or the concept of Matthew chapter 15. And I want to share that with you. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Momi Robins-makaila. And just in case this is the first time that you're tuning in, I am my whole purpose is to get you to understand the whole background stuff in the Bible, so that when you read it, you can open up your heart and your mind and your body and your soul to God's revelations to you. When I was first learning the Bible and pursuing that relationship with God, it was very confusing, and there were times when I just shut the book because I thought, I'm not getting this, and this is just words on a page, and I don't want that to happen to you. And so I'm giving you a very brief overview of the context and just little pieces of information that I think might help you understand, so that you can just open your mind and your heart and your body and your soul, like I said, to the revelation. Now, when I read chapter 15, that's just what stuck in my mind, is just don't worry, be happy. Now, from Matthew 1 through 14, what Matthew does is he takes us from the very beginning of Jesus's, ministry. Jesus goes up the mountain, and he's led by the Spirit. He gets tempted by the devil. He does not succumb to these temptations. He's ready for his ministry, comes down off the mountain, and immediately begins teaching. Now, over the course of Matthew, you'll see some things. You'll see the teachings of Jesus, all the healings that he's performed. It's like Matthew is keeping an account of all of these things that Jesus is doing for the people. And then at the end, of course, of the book of Matthew, we are talking about the passion of Christ and then the resurrection and what that means for us. Now, Matthew, Mark, and Luke is referred to the Synoptic Gospels because they all are very similar. They three were witness to Jesus' teachings, and they all come with their different perspective. That's why that you see it's all similar, the stories and everything. So it's like you're reading three different accounts of the same story. Okay, let's get to 15. 15 is divided into three sections. The first section is called That Which Defiles. That is Jesus referring to the Pharisees and criticizing the Pharisees, the Pharisees for always putting the letter of the law before anything else. And that's not what the Bible was given to us for. The laws were to help us get closer to God. So it's the spirit of the law that's more important. But in these verses 1 through 19 or 20, they're grumbling because the disciples didn't wash their hands, for goodness sake. And Jesus is pretty much saying, for goodness sake. It's not about that. It's not so much what goes into your mouth that defiles you. It's what comes out of your mouth that defiles you. So he's criticizing them. You can go ahead and read it 1 to 20. It's super easy to understand. Sorry. And then the last section is called Jesus Feeds the 4,000. Now, basically that section is just like Matthew 14. You remember how we talked about he fed the 5,000? Okay, same type story, but now Jesus is on the east side of the Mediterranean. He's on the east side. You see the Mediterranean. Okay, he's on the east side. And actually he came to rest, and but he was, again, ministering and healing. Okay, now I want to go back to the middle. There's a reason why I did that. I'm going over the second section last. It's called the faith of a Canaanite woman. Okay, here's what you need to know about Canaanites. They're from a land called Canaan. Originally, or prior, they had sort of conflict with the Israelites. The Canaanites are not Israelites, are not Jews, so they're not God's chosen people, and that's important for you to remember. So this Canaanite woman, who is not, Jesus wasn't meant, he didn't come for the Jews, for the Gentiles, right? And she knew it, but she still asked him for a miracle. And I'm going to read this piece to you. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly." Jesus did not answer a word, so his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel." So it's like Jesus is saying, well, I didn't come for the Gentiles, but that's not really what he's saying. The woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. And he replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." "Yes, it is, Lord," she said. "Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus said to her, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at that moment. Now, I've heard people say, oh my gosh, Jesus was so rude in that chapter. He was insulting to this lady. She was just asking for help. And at first when I read it, that's what I thought too. But really, it's endearing. First of all, think about people in the world who absolutely love their pets, right? Now, they might not have, said, "I'm going to get married and I'm going to have a dog," right? They might have said, "I'm going to get married," like men and women, "I'm going to get married, we're going to have children." But then what comes next? The pet, right? And so many times you see that the pet is like just almost like their children. Well, the marriage didn't happen because of the pets. The marriage happened and then the children came and then the pets came. So they're not the forefront, but they are. Jesus did save them. Jesus could have said, "No, woman, I came for the Jews, go away." He didn't say that. He said, "I came for the Jews. I recognized your need, and because of your faith, I'm going to grant you that." So it's actually very endearing. And it's not insulting at all. He's saying, "I didn't come for you," right? But, I didn't come for you. But basically in the end, he grants her request. He heals her demon-possessed daughter. And so that is a very important concept and idea for us to grasp. Now, the reason why I talked about this one last is because I also want to spend a little bit time explaining to you even the placement of this scripture, of this section is pretty important. So we've got the Pharisees and the law in the first section, and then we got Jesus feeding the 4,000 in the last section. Well, in the middle, right, it's sort of like this in between. Jesus is talking about the Pharisees and stop with the laws, and then he feeds the 5,000. In the middle, this woman is like the sort of the, I guess, like the middleman, the, how do I say, the middleman in the middle of, okay, this is how it was, this is how it is, this is how it came to be. And it's even in the scripture, they talk about how the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Hey, should we turn her away?" The Jews are the in-between between the Gentiles and Jesus. So it's Gentiles, Jesus, Jews, and Jesus. So Gentiles, salvation, how do we get there? Through the Jews, because Jesus came for the Jews. And it's placed right there in the middle of those two concepts. So it's pretty cool that it's done. It's the Bible is this way. You see so many little I guess nuances of the Bible that when you really look deep, it's giving you so many pieces of information in so many different ways. And again, when I read chapter 15, it's all about don't worry, be happy. Trust in Jesus. Don't worry about your needs being met because he will meet them. He will meet them. Like I said, I was the queen of worry before I got to this realization that there is nothing I need to worry about because he has all of my needs taken care of. I can trust in that. If you knew me 5 years ago, you would know that not even 5 years ago, but less than that, I was the queen of worry. And, reading the Bible strengthens me and helps me to understand, hey, don't worry, be happy. Life is too short and we're all going to the same place anyway. I want to leave you with a big thank you for staying with me all this time and for watching our videos. If you're interested in reading my story, you can find my books at alohamomi.org. You can also go to napuamagazineshawaii.com. That's NAPUA magazineshawaii.com to read our monthly magazines absolutely for free. We share about our community, but we also we just share life stuff, faith and spirituality, health and wellness. We talk about community contributors, just a whole bunch of stuff that we hope will help to challenge, strengthen, and support you on your journey. So anytime you got a few minutes, come check out my videos, go to the website, download our magazines. Oh, and subscribe. Subscribe to us so that we can send you the magazines every month free of charge. Thank you again so much, and God bless. Peace out.